All right, and welcome. So we're trying something new on Bite Size Learning. We tried an intro video. I'm not sure if anybody heard the sound. But we have our guest, Dr. Ada Stewart, my good friend. How are you tonight?
I am great. How are you?
Good. Oh, we've known each other for a long time, Ada.
Yes.
Oh, we have lots to talk about tonight.
Awesome.
What I'd like to start out with is, for obviously you're going to be AAFP President, you're President-Elect now, and people may not know you that much. Why don't we start out just kind of with these first few minutes, just to kind of introduce yourself to the audience. And I know that there is a special Ohio connection that you're going to share with us.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So thank you, Mike. Thank you so much. I almost feel like I'm home. I was born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio, and lived there until I decided to go somewhere warm. How I ended up in South Carolina for residency.
Okay.
But born and raised in Cleveland, and ended up doing pharmacy initially. I was a pharmacist, and the way I ended up in pharmacy was through my high school chemistry teacher. She showed me what it was like to use our science to help people and help the community. And I never saw a doctor. My family, we never saw a physician. So that was not even in my radar. And it's funny because Dr. Jocelyn Elders once said, you can't be what you don't see. And that was so true for myself. The way I ended up in pharmacy was seeing a pharmacist and seeing that individual in our chemistry classroom. And so I worked as a pharmacist and went to pharmacy school at Ohio Northern in Ada.
Yes.
Ada. And named after me, or I was named, no. But anyway, I went to pharmacy school there and practiced as a pharmacist for about 12, 13 years. During that time, I sadly lost my mom to breast cancer. And we talk about the social determinants of health. We talk about what family medicine does as far as prevention, and I actually saw that within my family. My mom had gone to the emergency rooms for numerous illnesses over the years, and in August of 1987 she found a mass. She died in March. So again, also, we see that that relationship with African-American women and people of color having late diagnoses of breast cancer and other illnesses, and they end up passing away. And so I saw that in my own family. Lost my dad also to heart disease. And so, seeing those things really kind of gave me another a view of what medicine was all about. Actually, while I was working as a pharmacist, I ended up reading an article about a physician who worked at a clinic in Cleveland, and she was a family medicine physician. And she talked about the spiritual, emotional, and physical well-being that she really, that encompassed what she did and how it impacted the community. And it was not until that time that I said, you know what? I think my calling is to be a family physician. And so it took some, a lot of work for myself, because I had been out of school for about 12 years. I won't say how long exactly, about 12 years practicing, and ended up taking chemistry over and some courses so I could take the MCAT, and ended up applying to the medical schools there in Ohio and got accepted to the Medical College of Ohio in Toledo, which is now a part of the University of Toledo. So that's where I attended medical school. And it was not until looking for residency and kind of wanting to experience something different is when I actually decided to look at other areas. My plan was to actually do residency somewhere and then go back and serve the community, because the community there in Cleveland, in Ohio, was really, very important to me. My family's still there. And so last time I was there was around Christmas. I tend to spend every Christmas there with my sister and all my nieces and nephews, because again, that's home. But I love South Carolina. And I tell you, the tough part is when you get tired of the cold and you go somewhere really warm and you enjoy it, and you end up saying, wait a minute, I don't think I'm going to go back to that, those winters. It was really, it's kind of bittersweet though, because I found a new home. They say that most folks end up staying within 100 miles of where they do residency.
Exactly.
And that was so true with me. And I found a new community to serve. Came here to South Carolina and worked at one of our rural sites as a National Health Service Corps scholar. And I tell you, that was, and I'm still at the same, with the same organization. We changed the name, but same building, same offices, and usually in the same patients. I'm still taking care of patients that I delivered during residency. So I tell you, I tell folks, there's nothing like family medicine. You do that, deliver kids, see them grow up, and most of them graduated this year, and so that was bittersweet. Made me feel like I was getting old, but it was great. And then I would be remiss not to mention, what happened 9/11, when I decided that, it was something more that I needed to do. And so folks are coming around trying to recruit individuals, physicians, to join the military after that. And that's when I decided to join the Army. And again, it was one of those things where, I thought I'd just stay for a little bit, and, so maybe 4 years, and here, 17, almost 18 years later,
wow.
And now a full board colonel, I'm still serving. And I tell you, it's, life is about what you make it. And, my life has been all about service. And I always say I serve my family, my God, my country, my patients, and our academy. So that's who I am.
Wow, just thank you for sharing for solely. There's so many questions for me to kind of follow up on. I mean, first of all, thank you for your service to our country. And
Thank you.
so how did you come to select the Army and not another branch of the military?
Well, it was when you're older too, it's one of those things where certain age groups you can, in the Air Force, you may be too old at this time, but, with the Army, I was right at that point because I was older, and also I really enjoyed the Army and what it stood for. Not that the other services, there's nothing wrong with them, but, I always say Army strong, and I just, I love the Army, and I wouldn't do anything else in the other service, but it's been good. I've met some wonderful folks over the years, and I love it. I love it.
So how does it influence your life now? You said you're a colonel. So you I don't know what all that means. You take part of the, you go, and I don't know. I mean, how do you serve these days?
Yes, so I am in the reserve, which is different than the active Army. So I'm still able to work full time, still able to serve our academy, but also I'm able to serve our country because I'm only asked to come and do duty 1 weekend a month. Also, I may be deployed for a few months, usually about 3 months. With COVID, a lot of us were called up to go to New York and go to Texas to be part of the COVID team. So you never know what you may be called to do, but I've been blessed that the military has seen my leadership skills, has also given me leadership skills as a colonel. And so it's a way to help build that those skills that you already have, able to serve our country. And I tell you, there's nothing better than being part of where you can really serve and do some good. At the end of my life, whenever that will be, I can say that, I gave it my all and did everything that I could do as far as serving, of being that servant.
That's great. That's great. So for people who don't know, what's kind of your practice situation right now? Are you a lot of administrative, or is it seeing patients? It's a split.
I am seeing patients, and I work in the community health center here in Columbia, and I also, because I am a HIV specialist, I see HIV individuals, people living with HIV. I also do transgender care, gender affirming care for patients. And in addition to that, hepatitis C. I also have students that I precept. Nurse practitioner students, medical students. We have residents that come through. I'm still working 5 days a week, and especially now because everything's virtual, I'm in the office still a lot more than I would probably have been had COVID not come and disrupted things as it did. I tell you, it's important to be there to see what others are going through, prior authorizations, I have to deal with those things day in and day out. Actually being part of what our practices are going through, seeing that on the front line, we have not been able to, the way my practice is, I am not actually seeing COVID positive patients, but we're referring them to other places to be tested. But, just seeing the fear on individuals' faces when, they have a cough, or when they may have, just sneezing, thinking it's allergies. And the first thing that folks think is, do I have COVID, and how in the world do I get tested? And then I have to find a way for them to get tested. And, it may not be at my particular office. It may be somewhere else. And, it's just been really impactful for many of us. I say that family medicine is truly on the front lines, and we are. We've had to implement telemedicine. Initially, and you think about it, most of us did not use telemedicine. Many of my rural colleagues, such as Dr. Cullen, he was really into the telemedicine platform. 15% of docs actually use telemedicine for a number of reasons. They were not using it because of training. Reimbursement was a big issue. Making sure that our patients had the access that they needed to have. And then for us to be able to turn that around to use it within our offices, so that we were able to reach out to our patients whereas they were fearful for coming in. And as things got better, making sure that we let our patients know that it was safe for them to come in and to be seen. I tell you, the worst part is not being able to touch and feel our patients. I'm a hugger, and all my patients know that. And I tell you, that is the worst thing when they come in and you say that, oh, I'm sorry, we really can't hug, but, I'll do that, that far away hug, and it's still it's not the same. I've been, so I'm practicing day in and day out, and right there doing all I can do for for my patients and still trying to do everything for our academy.
Yeah, I've been, all the family docs that come on the program here, I've been asking them about, their telemedicine experience, as a clinician in addition to being a leader. But can you share a little bit about that? Like, how was the conversion in your clinic and you personally, and how was that conversion go?
So for us, it was a little slow. We ended up using one of the easy platforms that were free with a community health center. And so we were able to get it going. It took a little while for my patients, and it's different because I've talked to many others throughout the country, and some patients like took a hold of it and were able to use it and loved it. I tell you, my patients rather come into the office. And so it was really tough because, getting them used to the video. Many of my patients also did not have a phone and internet access. So that was tough. That was really tough for them to get used to the fact that they could not come in and they had to use this platform that they were not used to. And that's the tough part of everything that we've seen with telemedicine. It's awesome. It gave us a way to be able to still reach out to patients who could not come into the office. But I tell you, for my patients, it was a little tougher. I call all my patients have my phone number. And so telling them that now we're going to have to charge you for a phone call was another tough hurdle that we had to kind of get over. But it's getting better. We're seeing most of our patients in the office. I still have a few medicine folks that, they really do not want to come out the house, but most of my patients are excited to get out the house and get to the office. And so we make sure that they're safe and, social distancing, cleaning our exam rooms, cleaning the waiting room, making sure that there's not that many folks within the waiting area. And so I tell you, it's just, again, getting used to our new normal has been tough for many of us, and including our patients. And a lot of times we don't think about what they're going through and the stressors that this is all put upon them, in addition to ourselves and our practices. And, some of our practices had to close their doors. We even were furloughed for a day. So many of us had to be furloughed because of the our payment system that we had, our fee-for-service system, which, COVID really unveiled the flaws of that system. Folks were losing their practices, had to close their doors. That was tough. It was really tough to see. And, we really know the value that family medicine brings. And for us to continually to be undervalued really hurt us. And we saw that. We saw that with COVID. And so one of the things as we move post-COVID, we really have to push value-based payment reform. So that's one of the things that I'm hoping to push forward as we go post-COVID. This eventually will end, and we have to make sure that we do not use this, we need to use this crisis and not waste it so that we can move to the future and really show our value.
That's a great point that you bring up, is that, advocacy, for these policy changes.
Mm-hmm.
And I've talked a lot with family docs about having a more permanent solution,
Mm-hmm.
for payment of telemedicine and things. And
Yeah.
So how do you encourage members, to continue to be advocates, especially from a legislative standpoint during a pandemic?
Yeah. We really, we saw the importance of advocacy. We saw the importance of being able to go and talk to CMS to get reimbursement for telemedicine. And so it is really important that we as physicians advocate. And I tell patients, I tell students, I tell other physicians that how you advocate can vary. You know, you can write letters. Right now, we can't really go to DC and we can't go to the state houses and advocate. But I tell you, our academy has been just, you know, had our foot on the gas pedal, advocating for each and every one of our members, writing letters to CMS, writing letters to DC. Each and every one of us has a responsibility to advocate for our specialty, for ourselves, but how we do this can vary. I tell folks, everybody advocates. You know, as we call the insurer to get a medication for our patients, we're advocating on behalf of them. So we are all there advocating, and we just have to encourage each and every one of us to do what we can, you know, contribute to your PAC boards, you know, each thing that you can do to improve your advocacy efforts is really important as we move forward. One voice really can make a difference. And one of the things that I really have been saying a lot lately is, you know, and this is, and I would not take credit for this, but President Obama said something, and I thought it was really, it really reflected what we can do. If one voice can change a room, then one voice can change a city, and one voice can change a state. One voice can change the nation. One voice can change the world. And if we use, you know, all these voices together, we can change our future, and we can make sure that family medicine is the foundation of our healthcare system as we move forward. So we all have a voice. We all need to use that voice, but that voice together really can be more impactful than one voice, but one voice is still very important.
My guest on the line here is the President-Elect of the American Academy of Family Physicians, Dr. Ada Stewart. Let me ask you a little bit about, you know, about your leadership roles here, and I guess starting out, you know, what drew you towards organized medicine in the first place to say, hey, you know, how can I make an effect for my patients in my community? Can you share a little bit about what kind of drew you towards leadership medicine in the first place?
You know, and I think it was more of the things that I was going through there in Cleveland, growing up, seeing things within my family and recognizing the importance of speaking up for others who could no longer speak or did not have the courage to speak up. And so, you know, if you really want to be part of the change, you have to be there at the table. And so that was really important for me. And I was given the opportunity as a medical student there at the Medical College of Ohio. I first started with the AMA in the medical student section, being really involved. And then with our Ohio Academy, and I was laughing, I got to show you this, Mike. I have an old family physician magazine that I was, when I was appointed to the, as a student to the Commission on Special Constituencies. And so those opportunities to be a voice just really kind of helped me to recognize how important it is to be part of change, to be there, to have my voice, to have others' voice, and to represent individuals who cannot represent themselves. And so that was really part of, you know, I think God put me here for a reason. And I really feel that it was for me to be able to use my platform to change the world, to change the things that I went through during my life there in Cleveland, losing my mom, losing my dad, seeing what my family members went through as far as their health is concerned. And right now, just watching my colleagues, even with COVID, we've lost family docs. Many patients we've lost during this time, and we need to speak up for those individuals who no longer have a voice, and to be there for them. Can't hear you.
How about that?
There you go.
You think I'd master this by now, but I guess not. Ada, I've heard you reference a couple of times, health disparities in minority populations. I know that that has touched you personally. What I know that probably drives some of your passion as well. Why is it important to bring out these disparities and to shine light on them, kind of in your mind and in your heart?
Part of it is, what we're seeing right now, Mike, we are, COVID really unveiled the health disparities within our nation. With seeing people of color disproportionately impacted by COVID really touched a lot of folks. But that wasn't the first. I do HIV care, and other things that I see, diabetes and all these things that definitely impact people of color more. And so we really have to address these issues. This is part of, our community. It's sad to see individuals who really don't have access to care like they should. And that's one of the reasons why I'm still at the community health center where I started, because there was a need. Many individuals would not stay there. It burned folks out a lot faster, because you take a lot of the pain and the hurt that you see within your patients, and you take that home. And I just felt that this was, my calling, to be able to take care of individuals who are disproportionately impacted. And I tell you, family medicine and our academy, we find that, this is really important for us to care for those who are marginalized, to care for individuals who otherwise would not have a voice. And it's really important that we address these very issues. Like I said, what we've seen with COVID, no one could have imagined the disproportionate impact that it had on people of color. And it was something that, I knew was out there, and many others who were in that space knew it. But, for individuals to just talk about it and have it forward facing was really impactful.
I mean, so when you talk with medical students, because you said you work with them, I mean, what do you tell them, or what do you show them how family medicine, how family physicians can really impact not only these populations, but, the population, I guess, of our communities and of America?
Yeah, and it's really great that you asked that question, because I have a medical student with me now, and she's debating on going into family medicine. I'm like,
debating? Come on.
And so I'm trying to talk to her about, the things that we see every day. One day is not the same as the other, and how we can impact our community and impact our patients. And, we go into a room, just the other day, we went into a room, and one of the patients was homeless. And so just, talking to that individual and trying to find resources for them. And I told her, I said, there's no other specialty where you can build relationships where you can really impact the life of this particular patient more than any other specialty out there. And it's really, I think it was eye-opening for her to show how we can really go out there and be part of the community. There's been a lot of times now with COVID, not as much, but folks in the community has asked me to speak on a particular topic, and going out there and just they'll say, oh, that's my doctor, someone knows me, like that's my doctor, and just being part of the community. And I tell you, that's what family medicine is all about. Most of us are part of the community. We are the ones in the rural areas, we are the ones in these underserved areas where there are of most need, and we really need to be there. And it's all about the relationships that we can build with our patients that really impact their lives and will ultimately impact their health. And hopefully we will have a healthier community once we have, everyone with a family physician there to care for them.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit before the program about kind of your role as the AAFP president for the rank and file AAFP member who may not know, kind of in pre-COVID times. What are some of the responsibilities that the AAFP president does, and obviously how is that going to be changed and modified during these COVID times?
So usually we're traveling about almost 250 days a year, going from state to state, listening to our members, seeing where they're practicing, seeing what's going on in their state, going to DC, advocating for everyone. And I tell you, in these post-COVID times, that's not going to be happening. But that hasn't stopped everything. We're able to, through things like this, virtual platforms, able to visit with other states, able to write letters to our Congress folks, and to write letters to DC, and to have virtual meetings with folks in DC. So it's going to be a little bit different, but we have to adjust to our new normal, and make sure that, again, we do not take our foot off the gas pedal.
So, in these COVID times now, I mean, what expectations do you have of yourself or of the academy, of what can really be, accomplished, not only from a policy standpoint, but from other standpoints, during your presidency?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The biggest thing is we can't let these crises that we're going through right now go to waste. We have to use these to improve things and to make our future. We talk about creating the future, and the only way to predict the future is to create the future. And so we really have to be there on the front lines to create the times it's going to be post-COVID. So as we move forward after COVID, we have to make sure that we have payment reform. We have to make sure that the value of family medicine is shown, and that we have proven during COVID how valuable we are, but we are also vulnerable. And so we have to make sure that we get past all of this and get past this on top. We have to show that our students that family medicine is the best specialty ever. And so everything that we do right now is going to take us to the future. We have to look at what technology is doing. We have really just pushed forward with the use of AI and things like that will improve our value as family physicians. And this is something that, as we move post-COVID, and this is going to be on me, hopefully, and as we talk about vaccines and think, the COVID vaccine, we're going to be the folks on the front lines that's going to be asked to distribute and to give out vaccines, to do our prevention, to be out there to educate our patients, to give them what is the truth and what is not the truth. And we're going to use our platform to be able to do that. And that's going to be something that is going to be incumbent upon me to take us through the rest of this pandemic and hopefully post-pandemic, because I do see, and prayerfully, I see an end in sight.
Yes, of course. I definitely agree with that. My guest this evening has been the President-Elect of the American Academy of Family Physicians, my friend Dr. Ada Stewart, and time is going very quickly. So I guess kind of, shifting kind of maybe going towards maybe some closing thoughts and things. What advice do you have for people like me, like chapter presidents or other chapter presidents, or, just chapters in general, as far as, what we can do really to kind of, help our members and to help our patients during these COVID times?
The biggest thing is we all have to listen. We have to listen to our members, and, each and every one of them will have their different concerns, their different issues. We have to hear them and be their resource. Your National Academy is going to be your resource as you get, if you have those issues, in January 2021, we're going to have the Medicaid, the proposed Medicaid new service proposed fee that's going to give us 12% increase. We're going to be the resource. Your National Academy is going to be your go-to resource for all the things that you're going to need to get through that. And as state leaders, you need to be your resource for your state members. Everything starts with you, and then it goes to your National Academy. So be there, listen to your members, and I will be there listening to you, each and every one of you. It's going to be different. I will be reaching out virtually to many of you all. As Gary kind of led this path of writing letters and things like that, I think I may keep that up. I think that was a great idea. I'll see if it'll be okay with him as I continue, if I would be able to continue to do that, because I won't be able to touch each and every one of you all as we move forward. But looking forward to this next year. I'm excited. I'm excited about our future. You all are our future. And we're going to get through this, and we will get through this stronger and more virulent than we ever were.
Wow, that's great. That's great. I mean, I remember talking with you, kind of back in the day, back at national conference, where we were just kind of causing trouble and, writing resolutions and running for elections and all that stuff. And it's just been fun, kind of watching our peers kind of, get into their leadership roles, and we all talk about our favorite mentors, and it's great to, it's a great time to be a family physician.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And when you said trouble, I was thinking, of John Lewis. We're going to get into good trouble.
Exactly. Yeah. And I just have all these memories, and I remember talking with you, and when I first started getting interested in leadership and getting interested in doing some of this stuff, and it's just that's what's great about family medicine. People just come in, just even like me, asking dumb questions about things, and because we all kind of paid forward, and like you're saying, you're working with residents and students, and I'm working with residents and students, and it's just even though it's kind of a scary and an unknown type of time, and it's still still a great time to be a family doctor.
Yes, it is. And we will continue to push forward. I tell you, each and every one of us has a role to play. And we have to continue to be mentors and encourage folks to come up behind us, because this race is not over, and we have to keep pushing forward, keep pushing the specialty of family medicine forward, and we will be the foundation for the healthcare of our nation. And I'm looking forward to that.
I'm going to be very excited coming up soon. Our American Academy of Family Physicians Congress of Delegates is going to be virtual this year. It'll be a very different experience for the board and for you than in past years. But we just kind of keep going.
Keep going.
And it's going to be great to kind of see, how you kind of adapt to this role in this kind of COVID times. As we kind of, close our conversation this evening, what kind of closing thoughts do you have for, those family docs out there, for AAFP members, kind of as you start your reign as AAFP president?
Closing, I just want to say, and I tell folks, please forgive my cat. Oh my God, I can't believe it.
Your cat knew we were doing the closing. So there you go. Stealing the show at the end.
Oh my God. So I was going to say, really look to your academy. I'm going to be there for you all. Stay safe, stay well, stay strong. I love you guys. I miss you all. And we will get through all of this, and we're going to get through this together.
Great.
I'm sorry about the cat.
What's your cat's name?
That was Lucas. I have another one. He's hiding. Mike, I tried to put them away, but they knew I had plans for them, so they were running.
There you go. Do they pop out during like board meetings and things? That's got to be fun.
A few times, yeah.
Well, my friend, Dr. Ada Stewart, thank you so much for the time tonight, and of course, best of luck. You're going to do a fabulous job. And it's going to be great kind of seeing you at the Congress of Delegates this year, and then at FMX, where traditionally the incoming president has a speech. So it's going to be great to see. So best of luck to you.
Thank you for this opportunity. I feel like I'm at home.
There you go. And that ends our program tonight. For bite-sized learning, you can always watch this at ohioafp.org and see all of our previous shows from our fabulous guests. So good night, everybody. Bye.